rather chilly outside. Seems the winter season is already upon us. But I do still like the cold, I must admit. Especially when the frost begins to coat the dusty peaks of the Sieg Mountains all around me. Not yet, though. On the other hand, the latter seasons can tend to make this lonely tower a rather forlorn bastion. But now I'm glad to have finally gotten around to opening up this looking glass through which for you all to peer. Bless the Lamias for my magnificent gifts of sorcery. I am truly blessed. As well as amateur sorcerers such as yourselves able to access my looking glass. I know, but we can't all be as great as I now, can we? Ale just warms the belly. And this weather kind of reminds me of an old story I'd written. In fact, it's the one preceding the Tale of Scale Academy, you must remember. Oh, what do you say, story time? Wonderful, wonderful. You're going to need an ale or a warm beverage for this one, my friends. I give you the tale of the Highlands of Multes. Ubi gazed out into the snow-patched outskirts of the Highlands of Multes and sighed heartily before continuing on. His little wish for fieldwork had come true, and it was time for his first errand. He took another sip of his hot chocolate infused with fennel picked right from his master and mentor Archmage Thurset's own garden. He had been instructed by Thurset, the greatest wizard of the inhabited lands, to head to the Highlands of Multes, a brisk, desolate region, and bring back a sort of rare magical battery known as a Cephela Crystal. This, the Archmage could use to power his red tower, emitting an aura of arcana to amplify spells of protection and sharpen the mind of any who studied within its rooms. Thurset had determined that there was a ripe crystal cave untouched yet by any Multesian miners on a small island surrounding Midnear Lake. He seemed sure it would be home to at least one Cephela Crystal. Ubi shivered, despite being adorned in the finest cold weather coats that Thurset could offer. He wrapped both of his hands around his mug.
Well, Ubi, this is what you wanted, isn't it? A chance for some real field work? Oh, I pray I do not suffer a frozen death.
But he did not shiver alone. He was accompanied by several other Red Tower apprentices, Raya the Witch and Retribution the Warlock. These sorceresses had shown natural magical potential under Thurset's mentorship. Ubi felt as small in magical ability to the two of them as he was in stature, despite having longer been a student of the Archmage. He could only manifest a few cantrips and prestidigitations. A paladin came with them as well, to serve as a bodyguard for the inexperienced magicians. His name was Valenrad of Elsmine, an initiate of the Paladins of Elsmine who had come all the way from the southern fortress for the opportunity to seek out an internship with the great Archmage Thurset. Being relatively peaceful times in the Ettering Mountains, as the hobgoblins and bugbears of the mountains had been held at bay for some time, Valenrad knew he could afford to leave his station and venture to the Red Tower, for it is well known to all freelancers that the great Archmage Thurset is never short of ambition nor work for those who seek it.
Well then, my gnomish companion, which way shall it be?
Asked Valenrad. Ubi looked at his map, and then up at the great white waste before him, which was decorated by several groves of dwarf pines.
The map says this way.
As he gazed through the snow flurry and beyond, he swore he could feel the trees drawing closer to him, because they were. Within seconds, the party was surrounded by the trees. Ubi found himself wrapped and shivering in their snowy boughs, but was able to push his way out of them and get back behind his paladin companion, who quickly drew his mace. It seemed a threat was before them, and it was several layers thick. The two sorceresses began their incantations, but Ubi stepped forward with a profound look on his face.
Now wait a minute. We don't want to harm any of you. We're only looking for the Midnear Crystal Cave. Do you know where it is?
It must have seemed silly, Ubi asking directions from some trees. But the encircling trees quickly shuffled about, creating an opening at the northeast end.
I guess we go this way,
suggested Ubi, who began in the given direction. The faces on the two sorceresses were as quizzical as could be, especially Retribution.
But the Crystal Cave is supposed to be due west from here, right?
Maybe it's a shortcut. Come on, let's go,
announced Ubi. In reality, he just wanted to get away from the ambiguously aligned trees, and it seemed the others shared his sentiment, for they followed the short rock gnome down a passage formed by the dwarf pines until they reached a narrow cave opening.
Huh, maybe Ubi was right after all,
spoke Raya.
Let's see what's inside.
Retribution and Valenrad followed cautiously behind her. The cave was no greater than the interior of a large study. There was a small hole in the ceiling where water dripped into an icy pool below. The opening allowed for only a faint ray of sunlight to shine down onto the ground on which the party now stood.
Dead end,
spoke Retribution. But Raya, meanwhile, had found something carved on the wall on the west end of the room. The carving depicted the very same room, the light shining from the hole in the roof down onto the pool of water below.
It just looks like an old painting of the room.
But look, the light is depicted shining on the water. Here.
Valenrad furrowed his brow beneath his stoic-looking great helm. He examined his shield, which shined with a glare from the ray of light above.
Let me try something,
spoke the paladin. And he angled his shield against the light until it reflected into the pool of water. The earth beneath them rumbled like a great bowel, and within seconds a serpentine shape burst forth from the icy pool. The giant frilled eel rose up nearly to the roof of the cave. The light shimmered off of its small translucent scales. Its jaws opened and closed like a great forged bellows, and its tube-like nostrils similarly flared and shrank with each breath.
I see thee have summoned me, Kenelsh, the Maltesian sea serpent of the Highlands, for this is where I have long dwelled.
Its tongue quivered in its mouth.
Answer me this one question, strange serpent. Are you a good creature? Or do you mean to harm us?
The serpent inhaled, which sounded like steam passing through a large pipe.
Good.
Ubi bobbled his head.
Wonderful. We are good people too. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
He spoke with the utmost sincerity.
Do you know where the Midnight Crystal Cave is?
Just hop in my mouth and I will take you there.
Ubi rubbed the scruff on his chin as silence filled the room.
Ubi,
whispered Valenrad.
Are you really considering willingly entering the mouth of a sea serpent?
He did say he was good,
pondered Ubi. Valenrad stood, mouth agape beneath his great helm.
Let's leave now. We can find our way through the snowy wastelands outside,
announced Retribution. Raya stepped forth and inspected the sea serpent.
All of us can go in your belly at once?
Kenelsh nodded.
Yes, and no harm shall come to you, for even if I tried, I would not be able to digest the lot of you. Our sea serpents have sensitive stomachs. Thankfully, the lake is only a short distance away.
Raya turned to her companions.
I've done much studying in the way of flora and fauna while at the Red Tower, and know that sea serpents can only stomach small meals at a time. He has to be telling the truth.
Valenrad sighed.
And if he's not, I'll cut my way out of him myself.
Very reluctantly, the party decided to enter the sea serpent's mouth. It swallowed them down, and each of the party members swallowed in return. Yet soon, they felt themselves going down and then through and through.
Look!
Spoke Ubi, gazing through the transparent skin of the eel into the wondrous beyond. Shells of snails and giant hermit crabs shimmered in the underwater tunnel as the eel and its passengers flew by them.
It's beautiful.
Spoke Raya. Seconds later, the party felt themselves going up and up the serpent's body and out its mouth, along with a shower of digestive fluids. The party shook themselves off and surveyed their surroundings to find themselves in another similarly small cave. The mouth of the cave just before them.
Thank you, Mr. Eel.
But as Ubi turned around, he was met only with the rippling water from yet another subterranean pool whence they came.
Friend, it seems he's gone. Perhaps we'll never see him again.
The companions emerged from the cave into the chilly open air, immediately to behold a great frozen lake before them, in the center of which stood a small mound whose mouth was open.
That's the entrance to the Midmere Crystal Cave. It must be!
Exclaimed Raya with glee. The group then caught sight of two tall black shapes marching through the frost to the left of them. And they were coming right for them. And despite not knowing what they were, nor their intent, Ubi felt a great deal of fear welling up inside himself. The snow was falling heavily. Hello, my friends. That does it for Part 1 of the Tale of the Highlands of Multes. Hope to see you next time. Good night.